And I think it's just really important to realize like everything you've ever wanted and desired, you are capable of having.
Mm.
And if it is fully aligned, it will happen easily.
Yeah.
But this is also...
And if it's not, it'll be hard.
Exactly.
Especially in relationships. I think if I've learned one thing through our dynamic, and I understand being on the other side of finding your person is a very different emotional reality than waiting to find them. And that's why I hold everybody listening to this who has not found their person with so much love and compassion and understanding, because I remember being in the place of like, I'm doing all of the work that I can. I truly am being so open-hearted. What more can I do to call them in? And I remember that place, and it's funny to think back on it, and just, if I could say anything to my former self in that place, it would be give it time. Literally just give it time for the perfect moment, the perfect connection. If you keep really earnestly, and you got to be honest about this, Cam didn't just pop out of thin air. We met because we were both at a yoga studio. Okay. So hear me when I'm saying this. If you just sit at home all day and you do all the inner work and you're not putting yourself out there, that person's not going to find you. We need to be really honest with ourselves around what we are doing to put ourselves in the position to find the love of our life. Because you can do all the manifestation that you'd like and do all the journaling that you'd like and all the healing you'd like, but if you do not talk to people, the love of your life will not find you. So you have to expand your surface area for luck by putting yourself in positions like the place that you love most in your city. You can become a regular at your favorite spots. Just get really creative around, where could I put myself out there more than I am today? And if you are doing all of that, this is the place that I'm speaking from. I did all the preparation work to call in the love of my life, and I was putting myself out there all the time. I host a weekly event that 50 to 100 people come to every single week, 10 to 20 of which I've never met before. So these are new connections I'm making. I was going to yoga studios. I was sitting in public so people could approach me. And you have to be putting in that foundational work of putting yourself out there and being unafraid and open-hearted and not closed off when people would come up to you, not seeing people as threats, not seeing men as scary, seeing every connection as an opportunity to open your heart a little bit more in order for that grand moment like Cam and I had at Lizard Yoga to happen. But if you're doing all of that, I promise you it will happen. But I know how annoying it is to hear this. I know how annoying it is for people to be like, don't worry, like it'll happen. I know, trust me. I used to be exactly in that position. But if you in good faith can say that you're doing everything I just said, it will happen. And if you're not, that's okay. We love you. We have no judgment. I was also in that position years ago, doing nothing and then being like, where's my Prince Charming? But we just got to be honest, and we got to course correct or keep going down the path. That's why we bring this up.
And there's two things very important. We need to make sure we're acting upon, putting ourselves in situations and becoming the person necessary that we know will attract the person we know we deserve.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of it. Another part of it is maintaining the belief, no matter how much time has passed. Just because you haven't found the person in your given expectations of a few months or a few years or whatever it is, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Many people, and this is what causes the far majority of suffering in the world, they say, I'll believe it when I see it. You need to believe it to see it. If you believe, I'll believe I can be successful once I'm successful. You're not ever going to be successful. You must have the belief before it turns into reality. And so one thing it's incredibly important to keep in mind is to not lose hope. I understand in a world that's constantly trying to make this future feel more and more hopeless, that it can be hard to feel that way. But I promise you, if you keep it top of mind and you do incremental actions every single day that build you into the person necessary to achieve whatever it is, whether it's relationships, business, whatever it may be, health, if you do those necessary actions while keeping that belief and also putting yourselves in environments to where those opportunities can find you, they will.
Yes.
They will. And we know firsthand, for all aspects of life, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth whatever time it takes. It's worth it.
It is. And once you get there, so that's the little precursor I had to give. But once you find the person, how you know is because you can feel it. You can just feel that there is no friction. You can feel that there's no forcing it. There's no, oh, I really like doing this thing and my partner doesn't get it, or they don't understand me, or we fight all the time. No. If it doesn't feel right, if even one part of you is like letting doubt creep in, it's just not the person. And they're probably a lesson for you. And in some cases, this lesson can go on for years, especially if the person is like 95% right. Because then the mind comes in. The mind's like, we can make it work.
This logically makes sense.
We can, this is so close. I'm not going to find. Exactly. I'm not going to find, anything better this person. And then you convince yourself that you have to force something. You have to force a square peg in a round hole. And that can be some of the most damaging of it all is because you have to put yourself in a position there to really believe that where there is friction, there is force. And where there is force, there is not power. And it's not the right situation for you. You have to believe, though, in order to make all that belief happen, that the person who it does feel absolutely frictionless and easy with exists. And they're also looking for you. You have to believe that. And if you don't believe that, and you bury the gut feeling that's telling you, your signal that's telling you maybe this isn't right, even though it's so close, it's just not right. And sometimes it's not close at all, by the way. Sometimes the signs are hitting you, like we like to joke. Yeah. It starts, the universe will send you a tomato thrown your way. Then it'll send you a brick, be like, leave. And then it'll send you a Mack truck that'll be like, you gone. You got to get out of this relationship. So for a lot of people, that could be like, the tomato is you keep fighting all the time. Like everything's a fight. You even fight about where you go to dinner. Then the brick would be, oh, I found out that he's talking to other girls on Instagram DMs. And that's a little sketchy, right? Then the Mack truck is, he cheated on me, right? That's just an example. But you shouldn't have to get to the Mack truck. You don't have to wait until it's really, really bad to leave.
The only reason why we're waiting is we believe that there's not something better for us in their end.
Exactly.
And we're like, oh, well, I'm 34 and, only got time to
have
tick in.
Kids. Yeah.
And, that's stopping the universe from being able to gift you the person you're ready for at the perfect time. Right. If we're putting restraints on the miracles or gifts or blessings, that's what will happen. And so just don't settle.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't settle.
Yeah.
And again, it works both ways. You can't ask for everything and expect to receive it if you yourself are sitting at home on your couch.
And if you're not embodying them. So I think this is what people miss. I mean, all of what we're saying comes with so much nuance, but I think people really miss this part where you'll say, oh, women have too high of a standard. And that's why they're not in these relationships and they're not having kids because they're not settling. I have seen arguments against what we're saying, but what you have to understand is we are not saying do not settle, period. We're saying do not settle if you are someone who will do the inner work to uncover all of your wounds, insecurities, and pain points and get to the point where you make a list of all the characteristics you want in the love of your life and you become it. We are talking to that person. We are not talking to the delusional person who is going to sit at home and cross their fingers and try to do a summoning circle for their soulmate without ever leaving their house. We are not talking to delusional people. We are talking, and God, I love the Delulus, by the way. No judgment there, but that's not who we're talking to. We are saying do not settle if you are putting yourself in the position not to settle.